Welcome to our latest Reading from the Archives. This session is called All Creatures Great and Small and features tales of animals in the archives. We'll hear a number of recordings from our volunteers, including a letter which mentions mice as weather forecasters, a visit to a Victorian aquarium in Great Yarmouth, and accounts of the famous Wombwell's menagerie visiting Norwich. This document is an account of John Starling's visit to Great Yarmouth in 1876 with his wife. His writings include descriptions interspersed with religious reflections of his train journey from Worsted to Great Yarmouth, including the beach, shipping, the museum, services at the Roman Catholic Church and St. Nicholas's Church, and visiting the aquarium, which we will hear about today.
I have given an account of some of my rambles in Yarmouth. Now I must go and see the Grand Aquarium. I enter the spacious building and I am struck with surprise at the structure with its occupants from many parts of the globe. Here is the alligator from the great river Nile, where Nelson fought a victorious battle, from the banks of which thousands of innocent children have been thrown by their poor deluded mothers to be devoured by these monsters. Here is the poor imprisoned seal, turning up its eyes at the visitors looking at him. He looks grief-stricken, as though he did not feel at home until his little den allotted for him. No doubt he would prefer the sea to bask in. I am looking to see the conger eels playing in the water. They feel quite at home in their new situation. How nice it is to see how they float about and gambol in the water. The sea crayfish with its long horns creeping up the glass is a pretty sight, although he looks a formidable creature. Here are some very large crabs crawling about on the shingle with their massive shells, which seems too much of a burden for them to carry. And here is a smaller one with two large oysters which have fastened themselves on its shell. Still it crawls about with its burden. It reminds of Bunyan's Christian, carrying his heavy load of sin. In a small cell is the curious little fish, the seahorse, with its neck and head erect, resembling the horse, but there is no saddle on it for the rider. In the tanks you may see pike, roach, bream, miller's thumbs, and a great variety of fish taken from the Broads and rivers. In one tank are some beautiful lobsters, travelling about with their ponderous weapons of defence, the claws. Also some splendid coral from the bottom of the ocean, and many more things too numerous for me to mention. Now I ascend the staircase to look at the skating rink. What a pretty place it is, to my thinking, with a delightful view of the sea.
This extract from our much-loved and frequently featured Journals of Hilda Ziegermaler discusses Christmas 1901, where Hilda is making a Christmas Eve trip to London with her husband Jack to buy gifts. Within this beautiful image from her journals, see if you can spot the error. It took us a while.
44 Egerton Gardens, SW, December the 16th to 1902. We spent Christmas quietly here as Jack's mother was very seedy and so he did not like to leave her. Needless to say, it was decidedly dull. But I enjoyed Christmas Eve so much as Jack and I went on the spree together. We lunched at the Carlton and then went shopping all over the place, buying presents and enjoying ourselves immensely. We ended up by coming home with a regular cab load, including a huge menagerie Jack would buy for John. Needless to say, he was simply wildly delighted with all his presents and too excited for words. He had heaps. The room was just like a shop. Since Christmas, we've been very gay, with a lot of parties, including 2 dances, one with a very good cotillion. As to bridge parties, they are endless, and we've really been very cheery and gay indeed. Jack has really gone quite crazy over stamp collecting. He spends every spare half hour he has over it, and of course I help. He is making his own stamp book, a huge work, likely to take him years. One blessing is an endless amusement to him, and I'm so glad he should have a hobby to amuse him.
The next extract is from the transcripts of the letters of Oliver Fellows Tompkins, who was a missionary in Papua New Guinea. Born in Great Yarmouth in 1873, Tompkins was a member of Princes Street Congregational Church in Norwich and also taught at Trowse Congregational Church Sunday School between 1890 and 1896. After training as a missionary in London, Tompkins was sent by the London Missionary Society to Papua New Guinea, then British New Guinea, in 1900 to join the missionary James Chalmers. The pair met a gruesome end whilst on an expedition in 1901. These extracts show what life was like for Tompkins and Chalmers and describe the animal life around them.
December 20th, 1900. My last note, consisting of one sheet, was written from Daru without any notice that I should be able to post to you, but I did not like to lose the opportunity altogether, as it would be the first since I have been out here. We are anchored this evening off Bramble Cay, a mere sandbank, an interesting one, however, as I will try and show you. We hope to reach Daru tomorrow. As we got close to this island this afternoon, we could see that there were a great number of gulls flying over it, and when we got still nearer, we could hear their incessant noise. About 5 o'clock, we anchored and went ashore. There were literally thousands of those gulls hovering over our heads, making as much noise as a dozen rookeries, only rather a shriller note. In the middle of the island there is a little vegetation, like chickweed. As soon as we came to this, we found the ground covered with eggs. They were lying about 6 inches or a foot apart. In less than half an hour we had picked up, I should say, about 1,000. Anyhow, several buckets full. They are good eating and quite fresh. Our captain, says the gulls are just beginning to lay, and if we went ashore tomorrow there would be about as many again. Then we went a little further, and there were lots of young ones running about, not altogether unlike little chickens, only with webbed feet. All the times we were ashore, the gulls kept flying about just over our heads. The birds and the eggs seemed very much like the ordinary gulls we have at home, like those we used to have in the glass case. We shall, of course, take the eggs to New Guinea, where they are considered a great luxury. I did not count how many I had for tea this evening, but somewhere 6 and a dozen. They were a great treat. As I write, all the crew are ashore looking for turtles. They are going to send a boat back for me as soon as they can catch the first one, so if we get any, I will write about it when we come back. We want them for the New Guinea people whom we expect to come and visit us at Daru at our New Year's gathering. They come in from the villages up the Fly River. Last Christmas, Tomate had 1,700 people at Siquan, but we are not inviting them specially this year, so there probably will not be quite so many, although we expect a good number. I have just come on board again now. Unfortunately, I was too late to see the best of the fun of turtle turning. They were too busy catching the turtle to send the boat for me. The turtle only come ashore at high water. They come up to lay their eggs in the sand above the high water mark. In crawling up the beach, they leave a track, which the men follow until they come to this turtle, and then turn it over on its back, so that it cannot get away. We walked around the island and saw the 10 poor helpless creatures which our captain and mate has succeeded in securing. As everyone knows, they are exactly like a tortoise on a very big scale. They weigh about 300 weight each, so we shall have an extra cargo of 1.5 tons when we get them all on board. Nearly the whole of the animal is edible, so that one turtle goes a good long way. Anyhow, these 10 will be very welcome addition to our Christmas or New Year's gatherings. It has not been a bad evening's work for the crew. They caught them all in about an hour, but it will take several hours to get them all on board, as the dinghy can only carry 1 or 2, if they are small, at one time, and some are quite the other side of the island. It is nearly 10 o'clock already, and we've only got 4 on board as yet. As I write, they have just brought 2 more on board. They say that the total has reached 15 now altogether. I have just measured one. It is 4 foot long and 3 foot wide. I was told they would be worth £5 apiece in London for making soup. December the 27th, 1900. Christmas has come and gone. A very quiet Christmas too. To mate, of course, still feels the loss of his wife very acutely, and I'm trying to persuade him to take a trip south, and perhaps to New Zealand. But he does not think he will go till May. If he will, then even. We reached Daru with our cargo of turtles and had to put in 1 day's quarantine on board at anchor. The New Guinea quarantine is 12 days from leaving Thursday Island, and we had only been 11 days. We have heard since that the plague patients are all right now in Thursday Island. The turtles were very acceptable and soon found a very ready consumption. The worst of it is, on such an occasion, the people eat too much. Nearly half the people on the station were ill, and I was giving medicine left and right. We still have 4 patients suffering from the effects.
The next entry comes from the Red Register held at King's Lynn Borough Archives. The Red Register is an exceptionally early paper book dating from around 1300, into which wills and deeds were copied, relating to property in the town, and some memoranda of matters which came before the mayor and the community in the town hall. In this extract, we hear about a new rule regarding pigs in the street.
29th of September 1331. Memorandum, that on the Sunday in the feast of St. Michael, in the 5th year of the reign of Edward III after the Conquest, it is ordained by the commonalty that no one from now onwards should let his pigs loose to run or wander through the streets on any day in the week except Saturday. And if any pig should be found wandering on any day of the week except Saturday, he who owns the pig shall give 4d, and may be distrained on by the common serjeant for the said 4d, and Adam Tolub shall take charge of the said pigs.
The next documents are 2 letters written to Peter Newstead by his parents, George and Doris, who lived in Great Yarmouth. Peter was their only child, and he initially followed his father's footsteps into the railway, where he worked for the London and North Eastern Railway Company at Great Yarmouth, but he joined the RAF in 1940. He spent time in Blackpool, Northern Ireland, Reykjavik, and the Middle East. The bulk of this collection is Peter's letters from his parents, and the ones we're looking at today date from 1941, although the majority of the letters are not dated and it can be hard to be certain which order they should be in. The reason these letters are included in this animal-themed session is that throughout the letters there were often references to their pet cat Felix, referred to as both a he and a she, alongside news from home about air raids and bombs in Great Yarmouth, radio programmes, and the garden. 23 Barnard Avenue, Wednesday. My dearest Peter, we were pleased to receive your letter safely and to know you are well, and I'm glad to say we all are. Felix is sleeping under the deck chair, and at night sleeps on a rug on top of the piano. She always did like heights, didn't she? Arthur told me to send his best respects and will be writing to you shortly. It's very warm here today, and the garden is beginning to look fine, and the peas are coming up splendidly and are in flower. Have no news, dear, but Daddy will finish off this letter. Thank you, dear, for the contribution for Felix. That will be plenty, dear, and Daddy will take the other 1 shilling and 6d for postage, etc. He had some nice skate and plaice the other day. He did enjoy them. Good night, Peter, dear. Love and God bless you, dear. Your loving mummy. Kisses. How is Doreen? 23 Barnard Avenue, Sunday. My darling Peter, I hope when you receive this letter you will have already got the one Daddy expressed to you and that your mental agony is over. If they won't allow you to write, could you get the Padre to write to us a short note, just to say, my dear boy, that you will be brave for our sakes, and do nothing rash, for you know, dear boy, you are our all, and we look forward to the time when you are home once again with us, and all this parting is just a dreadful dream. I saw the Reverend Oswald Baker in full dress, Jesuit rig out. He looks very self-conscious. We had the first peas yesterday. We had been saving them for you, dear, but we'll get some more this week, so you shall have the next ones. They are very fine ones. Dear Peter, you know now we are all thinking every minute of the day of you. and hope to hear that you are our dear old Peter once more. Good night, dearest boy. May God take care and give you strength. Your ever-loving Mummy. PTO. The BBC are presenting as a play in Children's Hour Emile and the Detectives in 2 parts. I shall listen to that, as we did not hear it when the school performed it. Felix has been such a good cat. He really does what he is told now. By the way, Alderman Debbage has a black cat but with a tail exactly like Felix. He was buried for 7 days when Jerry fell on the back of their shop, and he is none the worse for his adventure. I went to see him. Cheerio, dearest. Mother. The next document is a letter from E. H. Morse of Brundall to J. Willis of Norwich from 1948. Morse kept a weather record where each day temperatures from various thermometers were recorded, along with wind direction, barometer readings, rainfall, and general comments. The letter which accompanies the record talks about mice and their part in weather forecasting.
9th of January 1948, EHM/JB to Mr. J. Willis, Southwell Lodge, Norwich. Dear Mr. Willis, I have received your telephone communication and I herewith enclose a statement of record since the 1st of January that you desire to know. Regarding the serene maximum temperature, I would not guarantee this is accurate for the reason that I broke my thermometer some few days ago and cannot get it replaced. Therefore, I had to take the readings as near as I can about 2 p.m. I don't doubt for one moment that my records will agree with yours in every instant. A distance of 9 or 10 miles makes a lot of difference on records, and only on very rare occasions does mine agree exactly with yours. And this is during still weather, but I have done my best to help you. On the 7th, my barometer read the lowest since I have taken records, 29.00. Regarding the outlook, I don't know how you regard the situation, but I don't think we shall experience bad weather for any lengthy period this winter. I believe the prevailing winds will come more or less from the southwest during the winter months. I based my observations on the fact that for years I have watched which way the field mice work into the ground in the autumn, and strange enough, if you find one and look for others and discover them, they all bore into the ground the same way, indicating to me which way the prevailing winds for at least 3 months will blow. Last year they were northeast, this year they are southwest. However, we shall see. I mention this as a matter of interest. I would not be dogmatic. Yours very sincerely.
Our penultimate entry comes from the diaries of Reverend William Pelham Byrne, who was a clergyman at St. Peter Mancroft in Norwich. The Record Office holds diaries covering his time as vicar at St. Peter Mancroft. Byrne's interests included mountaineering, photography and bicycling, amongst others. His diary includes photographs, and the ones we are seeing today show the amazing spectacle of elephants, camels and other animals from Barnum Circus passing through Guildhall Hill in Norwich on the 6th of September 1898. However, whilst the photographs paint 1,000 words, Byrne's recording of it is very brief, and he has just written, "Barnum came to Norwich, wonderful procession through the streets." Our final documents were thankfully more descriptive of a visiting circus. The extracts we're going to hear come from the Norfolk Chronicle from 1816 and 1818 and report on the visits of George Wombwell's Royal Menagerie to the city. The newspaper reports are accompanied by these wonderful drawings by George Clayton Eaton, who was around 10 at the time, and date from a little later in the 1840s, after his visits to see Hilton's and Wombwell's travelling menageries. The drawings illustrate the variety of animals that Wombwell had as part of his menagerie and the bravery of those working alongside them.
Advertisement in the Norfolk Chronicle, 21st of December 1816. G. Wombwell's Royal Menagerie of Foreign Beasts and Birds, now exhibiting on the Castle Ditches, Norwich. This collection contains a greater number of first-rate natural curiosities than have ever been exhibited on any former occasion in this city. The rhinoceros, or real unicorn of Scripture, the only living animal of the kind in Europe, merits the particular attention of ladies and gentlemen conversant with natural history. It is the most valuable, the rarest, and ranks the highest in the list of quadrupeds. The noble lion and lioness are allowed to be the largest and grandest pair in Europe, and the young ones, their offspring, male and female, excite the surprise and attract the attention of all ranks of people. They are the first young lions which have been bred in England, and are a sight truly novel and gratifying. They are so tame and inoffensive as to be allowed to run loose in the menagerie, practising a variety of sportive tricks with each other, highly entertaining to the company. The nondescript animal from Algiers is a great natural curiosity. The leopard is the most beautiful in the kingdom, and the laughing hyena merits particular notice. In addition to the above, the menagerie comprises a great variety of other beasts and birds, forming on the whole an exhibition deserving the patronage of the British public. Admittance, ladies and gentlemen, 2 shillings, working people, children and servants, 1 shilling. Norfolk Chronicle, Saturday 19th of December 1818. It has this week been a sight of no unpleasing kind to witness the successive groups of charity school boys, with ruddy morning faces, not creeping like snails unwillingly, but hurrying along with eager expectation to avail themselves of Mr. Wombwell's liberal arrangement for throwing open to their gratuitous admission the doors of his very large and extremely fine collection of animals. The zeal and activity which the spirited proprietor displays in improving and completing his menagerie entitle him to praise and encouragement above the common measure allotted to mere keepers of wild beasts. As a lover of natural history, particularly interested in surveying the wonders of the brute creation, we scruple not ourselves to give him thanks for the varied treat which he this year presents to us. The area of his caravans is so ample, so constant an attention is paid to cleanliness, and so proper a regard is shown to the personal security, even of the most thoughtless spectators, that there appears nothing more to wish for, or even to imagine, except, indeed, it were possible without danger to view the savage race in something like the native state of liberty, and to see one of his noblest and most powerful subjects, his largest lion, for example, placed in some appropriate situation for substantiating his proud claims of superiority as the king of the beasts.